Good morning. Continuing with chapter number 13, that is direct and inverse proportion today. Let's start with inverse proportions. But before learning what is inverse proportion, let us recall what we have seen as direct proportion. We learned that direct proportion is nothing but if the corresponding values of two quantities, say x and y, if the ratio of their corresponding values remains constant, means if one of the quantity increases compulsory, the second quantity also increases, and if one of the quantity decreases, the other quantity also decreases. This is what we learned in direct proportion. Now let's see what is inverse proportions. So two quantities x and y are said to be in inverse proportion if an increase in x causes a proportional decrease in y and vice versa in such a manner that the product of their corresponding values remains constant. Means in inverse proportion, if suppose two quantities x and y are there and they changes in such a way that if there is increase in x, there will be proportional decrease in y, or if there is increase in y, there will be proportional decrease in x. And that increase and decrease takes in such a manner that the product of their corresponding values of these two quantities remains constant. That is, if x and y are in inverse proportion, then xy equal to constant. Then in direct proportion we have learned that the ratio remains constant. That is, we have taken x upon y equal to constant. Here the product remains constant. In this case, if y1, y2 are the values of y corresponding to the values x1, x2 of x respectively, then x1 into y1 equal to x2 into y2, or you can say x1 upon x2 equal to y2 upon y1. In direct proportion we have seen that x1 upon y1 equal to x2 upon y2. This was the case, means the ratio remains constant, and here the product remains constant. Let's see some examples. If the number of workers increases, time taken to complete the job decreases. You know that if more persons are working together, it takes less time to complete the given work. If the speed will increase, the time required to cover a given distance will decrease. You know that if you want to reach somewhere from here, suppose we are moving to Bombay, if we are driving in speed, means very fast, then it will take less time to reach Bombay. So more the speed, less will be the time taken to cover the given distance. Now let's solve exercise 13.2 based on inverse proportion. Question number 1. Which of the following are in inverse proportion? Now here some cases are given and you have to say whether they are in inverse proportion or not. So for solution of number 1, the number of workers on a job and the time to complete the work. Now you have to say that suppose the number of workers on the job and the time. We have seen that if more will be the workers on the job, less time will be taken to complete the work. If number of workers are increased, then time to complete the job would decrease. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. Number 2. The time taken for a journey and the distance travelled in a uniform speed. Here also for longer distance more time would be taken, because speed is not changed. We are keeping the speed as uniform, means same speed if we are driving, then it will take more time to cover the given distance. So it is not a case of inverse proportion. Number 3. Area of cultivated land and the crop harvested. Here also you can see if more is the area, we can harvest more crop. For more area of land, more crops would be harvested. Therefore, it is not a case of inverse proportion. Next, question number 4. The time taken for a fixed journey and the speed of the vehicle. Yes, this is a case of inverse proportion. Means suppose if speed is more, time to cover a fixed distance would be less. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. Number 5. The population of a country and the area of land per person. Means you know that if more people are there, then they will require land, means area of land will be lesser for them per person. So for more population, less area per person would be required. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. Now question number 2. In a television game show, the prize money of rupees 1 lakh is to be divided equally amongst the winners. Complete the following table and find whether the prize money given to an individual winner is directly or inversely proportional to the number of winners. Now here it is given that total 1 lakh of prize money is there, which is to be divided equally amongst the winners. One table is given. Let's see the table. Here you can see in the table that suppose if the number of winners are 1, then nature will think that 1 lakh prize money will be given to that winner only. But suppose the winners are 2 and it is already given that prize money is to be divided equally, so they will get 50,000. Now we have to find out that if the number of winners are 4, या 5, या 8, या 10, या 20, then what prize money each winner will get. Now here let's see first whether it is the case of inverse proportion or direct proportion. If more the number of winners, less is the prize money. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. So yes, you know that if number of winners will increase, the prize money will decrease. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. Now let us find out that if 4 winners are there, या 5, या 8, 10, या 20 winners are there, what amount each winner will get. We have learned that in this product is constant. So we take 1 into 1 lakh equal to 4 into x1. Here we will suppose that this is our x1, this is our x2, this is our x3, this is x4, and this is x5. Now we have seen that here the product remains constant, that is 1 multiplied by this. If you multiply 1 into 1 lakh will give 4 into x1. This we will find. Therefore, we get 4 into x1 equal to 1 into 1 lakh. Implies that now here we will see that we transpose 4 on that side, so it will become division. Implies that x1 equal to 1 into 1 lakh upon 4. Here again you can cut 4 1s are 4, 4 2s are 10, 4 5s are 20, and 3 zeros will be left, so we will get 25,000. Implies that x1 equal to 25,000. So here if 4 winners are there, each winner will get rupees 25,000. Now let's find in similar way the value of x2, x3, x4 and x5. So for x2, similarly 5 into x2 equal to 1 into 1 lakh. Implies that x2 equal to 1 into 1 lakh upon 5. Here 5 is transpose here. Again we can cut here. 5 1s are 5 and 5 2s are 10 and 4 zeros will be left. That is 20,000 rupees. So we will get x2 equal to 20,000 rupees. That is, if 5 winners are there, each winner will get rupees 20,000. Next, 8 into x3 equal to 1 into 1 lakh. Implies that x3 equal to 1 into 1 lakh upon 8. Again we reduce this and we will get the value of x3 as 12,500. So if the winners are 8, then each winner will get rupees 12,500. Next, 10 into x4 equal to 1 into 1 lakh implies that x4 equal to 1 into 1 lakh upon 10. Here 110 will cut, so we'll get x4 equal to 10,000. So if number of winners are 10, each winner will get rupees 10,000. And the last, that 20 into x5 equal to 1 into 1 lakh implies that x5 equal to 1 into 1 lakh upon 20. So 0 will cut, and 10,000 upon 2 will get half of 10,000 is 5,000. That is x5 equal to 5,000. So if the number of winners are 20, each winner will get rupees 5,000. So let us complete the table. So thus the table is completed as an under here number of winners and price of each winner in rupees. That is, if one winner is there, he or she will get 1 lakh rupees. 2 winners, then each will get 50,000. 4 winners, then each will get 25,000. 5 winners, then each will get 20,000. 8 winners, then each will get 12,500. 10 winners, then each will get 10,000. And if 20 winners are there, each will get 5,000. So in this way, we can find out the missing value. Now next, question number 3. Rahman is making a wheel using spokes. He wants to fix equal spokes in such a way that the angles between any pair of consecutive spokes are equal. Help him by completing the following table. Now it is given that one boy named Rahman is making the wheels. In the wheels, you know that wires are arranged. Now he is arranging the wires in such a way, which are called as spokes. So he is arranging the spokes in the wheel in such a way that angles between each two spokes is equal. Yes. Now let us find out that if the number of spokes are different, if he is taking less or more number of spokes, then is there any change in the angles or not? So there are 2 types of question asked. 3 questions are asked. Let us see first question. Are the number of spokes and the angles formed between the pairs of consecutive spokes in inverse proportion? Now first we have to find that according to the given table whether it is the case of inverse proportion or not. Now let us see the table. Yes. So in table we can see that number of spokes and angle between a pair of consecutive spokes. Consecutive means one after another. So if number of spokes are 4, the angle between pair of consecutive angles is 90 degree. If number of spokes are 6, then the angle between the pair of consecutive spokes is 60 degree. Here you can see as number of spokes increases, the angle decreases. So it is a case of inverse proportion. Using this, we will see what is the angle for if the number of spokes is 8, 10, 12. So obviously more the number of spokes, less is the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes. Therefore, it is a case of inverse proportion. That is thus 4 into 90 degree equal to 8 into x1. Here also let us suppose that this is our x1, this is our x2 and this is our x3. Yes. Now here we will multiply 4 into 90 degree is equal to 8 into x1 because we have learned that the product remains constant. Therefore we write 8 into x1, 4 into 90 degree equal to 8 into x1. Implies that x1 equal to 4 into 90 degree upon 8. Here 8 is transposed this side, so it will become division. Now here we can cut 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8 and 2 ones are 2 and 2 45s are 90. So x1 equal to 45 degree. So if the number of spokes are 8, then the angle will be 45 degree between consecutive spokes. Next, 4 into 90 degree equal to 10 into x2. implies that x2 equal to 4 into 90 degree upon 10. Here we will cut 0 0, that is 4 9s are 36, so x2 equal to 36 degree. So if the number of spokes are 10, then the angle between pair of consecutive spokes is 36 degree. And last, that is 4 into 90 degree equal to 12 into x3, implies that x3 equal to 4 into 90 degree upon 12. Again we can here cut 4 1s are 4 and 4 3s are 12. Again 3 1s are 3 and 3 30s are 90. So we will get x3 equal to 30 degree. So if the number of spokes are 12, then angle between a pair of consecutive spokes is 30 degree. This is means we have seen that this is an inverse proportion case. Now for question number 2 of this question only, that is it is asked, calculate the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes on a wheel with 15 spokes. Now we have found for 8, 10 and 12. Now it is asked that if there are 15 spokes, then what would be the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes? So for question number 2, okay, first let us complete the table here because we forgot this. So the table will be completed in this way. Number of spokes, winner should not come. By mistake winner is there, don't write winner here please beta. Number of spokes, if it is 4, angle is 90 degree. If spokes are 6, angle is 60 degree. If spokes are 8, angle is 45 degree. And if spokes are 10, angle is 36 degree. And if spokes are 12, then angle is 30 degree. Now the second question, it is asked that if the number of spokes are 15, then what will be the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes? So let the required measure of angle be x. We know that 15 into x equal to 4 into 90 degree, implies that x equal to 4 into 90 degree upon 15. Yes, because already we know that 4 into 90 degree we have to take everywhere. So 15 ones are and 15 6 are. So 4 into 6, that is x equal to 24 degree. So if there are 15 number of spokes, the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes is 24 degree. Next, question number 3 of this question is asked, how many spokes would be needed if the angle between a pair of consecutive spokes is 40 degree? Now it is asked that if the angle between pair of consecutive spokes is 40 degree, what would be the number of spokes required? So for this solution, let required number of spokes be n. Therefore, n into 40 degree equal to 4 into 90 degree. Therefore, n equal to 4 into 90 degree upon 40 degree. Here it is directly you can do the cancellation, that is you can reduce it easily. Cut here and we can cut 4 into 4 also. So it will be 9. So the number of spokes are 9. Thus the required number of spokes is 9. Next, question number 4. If a box of sweets is divided among 24 children, they will get 5 sweets each. How many would each get if the number of children is reduced by 4? Now it is given that if there are 24 children, then each children will get 5 sweets if the box of sweets is divided among them. But we have to find out that if the children are reduced by 4 from the given number of children, then how many sweets each would get? Now reduced number of children means there are 24 children and from that 4 are reduced, so we will get 20 number of children. So let us prepare one table. Where table is not given, you have to compulsory make a table. So in that table, so it is easier for us to do the work. Now let us suppose, let the number of sweets each child get as x. This is x By mistake it is written again as C. This is x only beta. Please write it as x. I will mention it clearly. Right here x only. So number of children, if it is 24, each children is getting 5 sweets. So if the number of children are 20, then how many sweets each child will get? That we have supposed as x. So we can write here, since more the number of children, less is the quantity of sweets. Therefore it is the case of inverse proportion. That is, we will write 24 into 5 because we know that x1 into y1 equal to x2 into y2. Therefore 24 into 5 equal to 20 into x. Therefore x equal to 24 into 5 upon 20. Yes, we will transpose 20 on the opposite side, so it becomes division. Now here we can cut 5 ones are 5 and 5 fours are 20. And this 4 ones are 4 and 4 6 are 24. So we will get x equal to 6. Therefore, each child will get 6 sweets. If the number of children are 20, then each child will get 6 sweets. Next question number 5. A farmer has enough food to feed 20 animals in his kettle for 6 days. How long would the food last if there were 10 more animals in his kettle? Now it is given that one farmer had this much of food that he can feed 20 animals for 6 days. It is given like this. But suppose if 10 more animals are added in his farm, then for how many days the stock of food lasts? It is asked like this. So for solution of question number 5, original number of animals is given 20. Now number of animals added, that is 10. Therefore total number of animals will be 10 plus 20 equal to 30. So we'll prepare a table, that is number of animals and number of days food would last. So if number of animals are 20, food would last for 6 days. So if there are 10 more are there, means 20 plus 10, that is if number of animals are 30, then we have to find out that for how many days the food would last. So we have supposed it as x. Since for more number of animals the food would last for less number of days, therefore it is a case of inverse proportion. Therefore, that is 20 into 6 equal to 30 into x. Implies that x equal to 20 into 6 upon 30. Here again you can cut very nicely, easily. 0, 0 will be cut and 3 ones are n. 0, 0 cut and 3 ones are and 3 twos are. So 2 twos are 4. So x equal to 4. Therefore, the food would now last for 6 days. Yes. Dear students, please copy all this in your regular CAW with neat and clean work. Remaining questions of this exercise we will solve in next lecture. Thank you.